My jet skis are older than my co-workers. Hey guys, what's up? It's Heather with the Mosco, and today we're gonna do a rainy day garden tour because I like to batch film, and we just filmed this and I'm still out here, so I might as well. Again, if you don't know me, my name is Heather, and this is the Mosco, where we are learning to garden together and trying things out even when conditions aren't ideal or perfect. I live in East Tennessee, gardening in Zone 7A. A little bit about my property: it is a modern log cabin, more modern on the inside, pretty traditional on the outside. Lots and lots and lots of shade. The parts that are sun are afternoon sun, which isn't ideal. But I thought we would do an August garden tour. Some things in my garden have surprised me with how well they're doing. Some things have actually lived up to the expectation of the fact that I kind of gave up in there somewhere. I became a fun summer mom. Let's do all the things. Sure, your friends want to go there, we're going. Sure, somebody's kayaking right now, great. Jet skis, why not? We got real hard into jet skis. Got some from the late 90s. My jet skis are older than my co-workers. Okay. But that being said, some things out here are doing really well, and I've been piece by piece taking it back a little bit and reining it back in and getting it back manicured looking. I've said it before, even if you don't have the supplies or the money to buy new plants or re-landscape an area, you can use a lot of labor to just tidy things up, mark your edges. Mulch isn't that expensive, especially the pine straw mulch. So those things are very helpful. And that's the things that I've been trying to do right here in the fall to get things ready. Also, I'm thinking about, I put some hydrangeas in, and we'll go look at those last year. And those are one of the things that have surprised me, and I think it's because I planted them in the fall. But we'll talk about all that. But we're just gonna do a garden tour here in August. It's August 12th, so the beginning of August. It is raining out here, which is kind of majestic. I am in the front yard, obviously. So there are some containers on the porch, and I think I did put a video. I never watered them. Maybe not even once. So they're dead. So we will visit that for Halloween. But let's turn around and look at these garden beds up here. Okay, so if we're starting on this side, this is the side yard. There is no sunlight here. And so I carved out this bed a couple years ago, and I do want to put oak leaf hydrangeas. I think that will be beautiful, Munchkin oak leaf hydrangeas. So I think that's going to be the fall project that I spend the most money on. Is lining both these with oak leaf hydrangeas. And again, I've talked about before the fact that this side is very shaded and that side is very hot afternoon sun, and I'm concerned that that might not work out, but we're going to try it and see if we can adapt it and maybe even shade those plants down there the first year, so maybe they'll adapt. So I put these containers together, and I'll show you the other one. I think I'm going to have to move this tree. I think I need to give up on the idea of having large containers with trees in them down here. This one's not getting very much sun. It's dropping needles, pretty bad. I thought that maybe if it didn't grow, if it just stayed this, it would be okay, but I think I'm gonna have to move that to where I put a Japanese maple that I'll show you later, and then put just a container, maybe just fill this up with something that's not a tree. I need to give up on the tree. These are heucheras. They're being eaten by something. I have not even looked at this container for months on end. And those are begonias. I am surprised they did not do better than that. I am surprised that Creeping Jenny has done so well, and I will obviously keep that, but next year we might need to do something, maybe a sun patient or something in here other than this, and move this tree. Probably leave it for the winter though, it'll probably be fine then. But yeah. So then the matching bed on the other side, and again, we've just been trying to keep things tidy-ish. The grass needs to be mowed again, but you know, you win some, you lose some. This is real life, and this is the day I had to do this, so you're seeing it, what it looks like. And we try to keep things 80% clean all the time. So this is its sister plant, and you can tell this one's doing much better It's more colorful. It put on growth. It looks good. The heucheras, however, down here are struggling the same with whatever. And these also are not growing that much. But again, Creeping Jenny looking amazing. So I originally thought I would keep these heucheras in here because I like the dark contrast. It would look great in the fall if I just popped these out and put some cabbage here. But I think for summer next year, we will probably trade those out because something's not driving. I don't love the way it looks. I think it would actually be a lot better. I did a lot of pink this year in these, you know, the overreaching flowering thing I had was these pink Surefire begonias. And I don't think that was the move. I don't love it. I don't love pink as a general rule. So we need to change that. Other than that though, the contrast of the blue with the orange of the house is gorgeous. I wish that that one would just survive down there so that we could have this, but I don't think it's gonna be a viable option. I think we're gonna have to give up on having a tree in here. You know, maybe we'll do an obelisk with a vine. I don't know, something for some height. I ain't figured it out yet, but this ain't it. And again, I wanna do the oak leaf hydrangeas all the way around. I realize that it's not evergreen and in the winter it'll just be sticks, but whatever. It's worth it to me. I think the oak leaf hydrangea against the log cabin would be a beautiful, beautiful mix. So, you know, whatever. This bed over here might be the best thing I show you today. I had lambs here before and it did really well. So let's get rid of that weed. I put in these gardenias, and gardenias tend to be one of those things that can be cagey. They can get too much water, so they're mounted way, way up. But while for some reason I can't smell them far away, look at that beautiful flower. Gosh, it's so pretty. They have been blooming their heads off all summer long. It's nice to have these nice white blooms up here. I will probably go around the back and do the lamb's ear again next year. It grows like a weed here, so I don't worry about planting that in the winter. But it looks really, really good. I love the way that it cascades over the side, and it looks really pretty. From up here, we'll take a look again. This is more or less a before. This is a flower bed that I need to go rescue from the weeds. And this is more or less what it will look like when I get done. They look very similar. I did fix this pathway this year, so I'm really happy with that, and that just looks really good. I'm really, really happy with that. Down here, I do need to actually plant, so there's a Japanese maple here that looks really pretty, although it's not very contrasty or easy to see. And then that is an oak leaf hydrangea, and I need to continue the oak leaf hydrangeas on either side, and I think I'm just gonna do Pachysandra, if that's an option, as a ground cover. Maybe do something else. So that bed is going to be a particularly hard one to plant because it only gets a couple hours of sun every day, but it's hot afternoon sun. And so you need plants that don't need a bunch of sun to like flower, but you also need plants that can grow in that kind of condition. And so that's kind of the bummer there. A lot of my garden is just straight shade, and that's a little bit easier, but these transition areas have become very difficult for me to try to learn to plant, and I'm struggling with that. Another thing that I gave up on this year was my vegetable garden. I didn't stick a dang thing. I didn't take the first weed out, and it's pretty overgrown. I've gotten a bunch of tomatoes, cucumbers. I've gotten regular cucumbers, but not some to pickle, which is really sad. I've gotten some okra and a handful of squash, and I did can quite a few things of green beans and make pickled green beans. And there's jalapenos out here, but this thing looks a mess, and I'm gonna pan over and let you see it. Here we've got our sad cucumber plants that never made it up the trellis. Part of the problem was, so the green beans, I could have harvested them again, but I need to pull them. I put, the straw down like I did. I did not make sure I did not get straw that had weeds in it. And it is taking over. We need to completely rip everything out and do it again. The zinnias are okay. They're not, I did just harvest them. there were zinnias on it. The dahlias are fine. I've gotten a handful, but not the really pretty ones that I most wanted out of my order. You know, I could probably go get some cherry tomatoes, but there's clearly some tomato hornworm activity on these plants. I'm not doing anything about it. Also, again, you got to double check on your drip irrigation. Something has happened with my timer that is causing it not to go off. And so it went through the hottest part of the summer with very little water. It killed these blueberries. It's bad. It's bad in here. This needs to be a video where I just come in and take it back. Next year we're just gonna attempt to be more mindful and take the extra 5-10 minutes a day to keep it running. I'm also thinking about, I need to close that. So here back at the garage, this is our planters. Couple things happened here. They're okay. They're not great. Again, I don't think I'll do the pink double ups again. I had the whites here before and they were gorgeous. A, to be fair, I didn't water this very much. B, I love the tree here, love it. This heuchera looks great. I don't know why those don't look good. And the creeping Jenny looks good. So I will leave that for fall. The two Brunner on the other side both died. And the dogs ate these. So these are replacement plants. And then I also didn't give it enough water. So I put replacements in there, but I didn't water it very much. This is the other thing that I'm really happy with the success with. Not this. This was my Japanese maple that was up there before. And again, I was not aware that I wasn't watering very much. So I'm a little torn because I loved this here before it fried and completely defoliated. I think it is still alive because it's green on the inside. I love underneath it the Dichondra Silver Falls and the chartreuse looking heuchera. Again, the double up pink begonias I have not been that impressed with. These plants, I ordered them last fall and I put them in, and there was no way to keep my dogs out of the bed at the time. They trampled them. They looked like sticks before the frost came. I thought they were goners. And then this spring I was like, I'm just gonna give them a chance. And they have completely surprised me. Now grant you, they need to thicken up some. They look incredible given the situation. The only one I lost was this one right here. But I am in love with these. Now I think if they got more sun, they'd probably, bulk up some. But this is exactly what I wanted for right here. I'm hoping this display just continues to get bigger and bigger throughout the year, so when it's like a big splosh. But I am thrilled with how this bed turned out. This is where those hostas were, and they would burn every year. So I thought this would be a better fit, and I think it is. And again, back here you can see I probably need to do a line of the lambs here. This bed I worked a lot on this year as well. Some things worked, some things didn't. That tree was my birthday present. If the one over there doesn't work out, I can move that one as well. We'll see. This planter is looking okay-ish. It tends to struggle every year. That's probably the best it's ever looked. I do like the dark sweet potato vine with the green of the callas. Jason loves canna lilies, so make sure that I put those there. Those calla lilies are really pretty, but they haven't bloomed in years. Now, grant you, this has been getting rained on, but I have only fertilized this twice. And considering I've only fertilized it twice, the swath of Super Petunia Vista Jazzberry looks incredible. And then our transplanted Black-Eyed Susans, who are looking a little past their prime, but I love the color here. And the Limelight Hydrangea, which again doesn't get quite enough sun, and we didn't put enough water in this bed. I did not realize that I had never turned the water up to daily. I like to do daily in the hottest parts of the summer, and I never turned it up. And I had 4 of the, what are those? Encore azaleas, and I lost 3. I need to pull those, remember what I bought. Hopefully I put a video in about it, and go ahead and replace those 3. I also have this golden little mini tree to have that piece of yellow, and it looks like it's dying in the top. So hopefully now that it's cooling down, again, not enough water here I think was the problem. And then my blue spruce still looking great. It's not the best, but it's not dying. It's putting on new growth every year, so I'm thrilled with that. And then here we've got some Chinese French flower Laura petalums. Now they're not super bright red because they are in a little bit of shade. This is another one of those beds that's really hard. You know, we cut this out of nothing, and it's getting somewhere. It's kind of over time getting somewhere. But that's another bed that every stinking thing in it, it's not many hours of sun, but all hot afternoon sun. And so it's challenging. So we're gonna go down here to our raised beds now to finish out this tour. This is the only cucumber vine that made it, and then the dogs tore it off. So I had 4 or 5 cucumbers, I think 7 or 8 cucumbers that I was able to harvest, and the dogs tore it off. But it still looks like it's okay. That's already, okay. Yeah, it's probably already dead. But it may produce us some more cucumbers. I don't love cucumbers just to eat. I do eat them, but I don't love them. This hasn't gotten any irrigation, and this is a clematis, so it's looking a little stressed. But the reason for that is we will be removing these remaining 3, moving the arch down there, and replacing these with 2 more beds. This is a Mexican sunflower, I think. Beautiful, beautiful flower. I planted that because I just had a bunch of seeds and I had extra space, and it grew like a weed for me last year. That's the first flower I'm getting on it, but I love that it's something green with a flower. It looks good. And then this is looking very tidy, but not as productive as I would like. So I do need to come get this squash out of here, but I have been, you know, struggling with squash borers. You know, I wanted these to take over the whole bed, but they have not quite done that. I've gotten 2 or 3 squash without the borers getting them. This one needs to be pulled. Let me show you. This one needs to be pulled. This is a very tasty one. And there's another one here and there. So maybe we'll get a few more. I did just put in another thing of cucumbers for pickling, just to see if I could get a pickle or 2. And then this one's making a squash. But as per the usual, I have not kept up on keeping the vine borers away. And so they have them, but they are still producing. This is a bed of okra, and at least it looks really healthy and happy. I am not staying on top of harvesting. I need to be out here harvesting more. But again, it looks healthy and happy, so I'm enjoying that. I'm gonna back up. It looks healthy and happy, so that's great. I'm not getting as much okra. I do think that this was also affected by the fact that the water timer wasn't working. But as you see, these beds are just gorgeous, and they look great down here. They really match my property so well. I really love them. I'm excited again. The trellis will go on this one. We will get rid of those, and we will put 2 more of these beds. So I am thrilled with how that's looking. Again, this time of year I start thinking about next year, and next year I think I want my goal to be really focusing on, I always say in the winter that I will come out here and get some stuff ready, and I don't do it. So I really want to focus on taking care of some of that, and making it easier to keep my vegetable garden, because I haven't got enough flowers and vegetables for my liking this year. But some things are doing much better than I would have expected them to. And overall, when I think about what my property looked like, you know, 8 years ago, or even like we really didn't start gardening it until like 5 years ago, we've come a long way, and I'm really excited about that and what it will look like in 5 years. You know, gardening's not like a sprinting race here, you know. So anyhow, I just want to show you what we had going on. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.